This content, if you just stopped by, right, hit that follow button. If you haven't done so yet, hit that follow button, make sure notifications are on, so you know I'm going live. We do this all the time. We love to have you here, so hit that follow button, subscribe to the channel. Super chats help out, subscriptions help out, all that good stuff. So support this channel, hit the like button, all that good stuff. I'm saying all that good stuff a lot. I don't know why. It's kind of awkward. All right, so moving on. Also, hit us up on our social media. We have a Twitter where we tweet stuff. Hit us up on Twitter. Discord, where we have with the heart and soul of the community. Everything happens on Discord, so be a part of our Discord, please. And then TikTok, we post videos from here, like clips of interesting things. I think some of this will end up on TikTok. It'll be fun, great. And then of course YouTube. Gotta spread the word. Hit us up on YouTube if you're not there already. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. All right. So next topic. Oh boy. During the Uvalde school shooting, police officers failed to take action against the assailant for about an hour. The result seems to have been an increased loss of life due to the department's incompetence. The police department accounts for around 40% of the town's budget. If the police have failed to perform their duties, should we reconsider the amount of funding they get in favor of alternatives? So yeah, I'm reading an article about this, talking about how just for many towns, especially small towns, that the police eat a just gigantic portion of their budget. A gigantic portion. This particular department actually did like lots of trainings like inside the school, right? They had like the school layout, they did like drills, they were supposed to be ready for it, and then they weren't. It seemingly, right, this is still a developing story, but it seems like they just completely screwed this up, like even in terms of like basic police strategy. Now everything went wrong. So if that's the case, do they deserve that much funding? Would it not be better for us to look elsewhere? All right, so I'll open this up to the panel. First, we'll start with Spartacus.
So I think that we need to get rid of police unions. I think police unions are keeping bad cops as cops. I think that cops need to be able to be fired for when they do wrong things or when they prove that they don't have the capabilities of being a cop, and the police union is keeping them in the police force. So if you do not have what it takes to be a cop, you should not be a cop. Because this local police force not only fucked up and didn't take care of the situation, when the special weapons and tactics team came, the local police force didn't let them in. The local police force fucked this up 10 ways to Sunday, and there needs to be some heads rolling.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go to blanking. Scott.
I wasn't going to say it till
you lost some brain cells as a result of something that happened.
Yeah, so I want to start off first to everyone on the left. All cops are bastards. To everyone on the right, let's use the term oath breaker, because every single police officer in this country is a dishonorable piece of shit because they regularly violate the Constitution based off of their oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. That said, these cops especially are fucking horrendous in their ability to be able to do or respond in any way, shape, or form. Spartacus touched on some of the points, of course. The fact that they didn't want to bust down the doors and they wanted to wait to get janitor's keys. The fact that children were, covering themselves in the blood of dead teachers so that they could play dead for an hour and 18 minutes while the cops waited to actually go in and fire and kill this guy with 25 rounds. They finally went all in at the very end. In terms of solutions, I think it's very simple. We need to abolish all public schools, and we need to abolish the police state. The best thing that you could do is privatize public schools, privatize police, and then since we spend roughly $11,000 to $25,000 a year annually on putting children in school, All we need to do in once we get rid of public schools is just give parents $1,000 to $2,000 a month every single month for every school age child that they have, and allow them to homeschool or engage in private schools, etc. This idea of like, oh, well, we'll get rid of certain portions of the corrupt police state and hopefully it'll get better. No, just fucking privatize it. Just allow schools to be private, allow them to have insurance, allow them to have private security, and deregulate this private security to the point that they can effectively act as security. And when schools fail, they'll be sued out of fucking existence, and we'll actually have a market and an insurance market that ensures the safety of our children. These police can't be fucking trusted. Communities and private companies are much better and much more efficient at being able to protect themselves, and that is what we need to do.
Jason.
Jason, you're muted. But I loved every word you said.
I love the idea that the solution was to price poor kids out of school, but but no, I think on this issue the police did really fuck up. I think that definitely we need to look at how we fund the police. We need to look at how we're training, obviously. And I am firmly of the belief that we should defer funding to more public resources, that can help to prevent these situations instead of waiting for them to happen and having the powder keg blow up on us like did in this situation. So yeah, I'd like to see more community resources, more mental health, resources. Things like that. I think those preventative measures are better than waiting for this to happen and then sending in a bunch of inept or lazy police officers that don't want to do their fucking jobs and letting fucking 21 people die because they just didn't want to walk in, even when parents were trying to walk in. Again, even when the special tactical units were trying to walk in, they're blocking these people from going in. It's like, fuck them. I'm sorry. And yeah, they should fire most of those cops that were on the scene, if not all of them. They should be fucking fired. No question. What the fuck, dude? You sat there and waited for an hour? Get the fuck out of here. That's all I got on that.
Okay. Claw.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a complete 100% direct response to Scott, and that is that I am somebody that was completely homeschooled and pays for all of their security. So if you believed Scott, then you believe everything that I say is correct, and that I found my own schooling from home via the QAnon boards on Facebook. Next up.
Okay. Gnosis.
So it seems like people who are drawn to violence have a tendency to use and abuse that violence. So what I'm proposing is that we separate the people who use violence from the people who permit the
You're
use
going
of
in
violence.
and out volume-wise. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but...
Is it better now?
Yes.
better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry about that. Must have been whatever. So my whole thing is that it's quite obvious that people who want to use violence will abuse any privilege they have to use violence whenever the option presents itself. So maybe we should separate the people who are allowed to, who give permission to use violence, and the people who enact that violence. How would we do that? Well, I'm proposing we have one social worker who's there to deal with the situation in a manner which does not use the legal enforcement and the legal authority they have been provided. If the situation calls for the legal any form of legal enforcement, such as violence or anything like that, then they would have a police officer present who only acts on their discretion, or unless the situation requires for it. Of course, situation gets too violent, police officer's gonna be there, detain them to deal with this. But the main thing is that the social worker is trying to figure out what the solution is and try and find a way that we don't get the law involved with this unless it absolutely has to. That's all.
Corey.
Yeah, so my meme answer is totally, funds need to be reallocated so that there's better training to send these cops to the Doobie School of Masculinity so that they're not cowards. But my actual answer is totally echoes a lot of things that Sprouticus said in terms of like abolishing police unions, or at least making them better somehow, so that we're not retaining bad cops. And a lot of my I echo the sentiments of Jason's society, more funding for better community resources. But I also so I'm all for funding access to mental health care resources, but I want to be careful in terms of like, yes, I'm all for funding access, but at the same time, let's not make the mistake of concluding that mass shootings or school shootings is primarily driven by mental health issues. That's a separate issue, but like totally, we should fund mental health care access. Stop there.
Let's go to Smooth.
Okay. I just there's no world where first of all, I guess I'll start here. The police were absolutely wrong in this situation for not going in after that suspect. If you see someone walking, like, okay, they were originally, if I remember the story correctly, they were shooting with him, they were shooting at him, they were outside, and then he went inside and they didn't follow. Like, there's no world where you see him go into a school and you go, well, I'm just gonna chill outside. Like, that doesn't even sound right. That sounds like if you see someone running into a freaking, I don't know, like a refinery with a freaking flamethrower, you're like, oh yeah, like this is gonna turn out great. Like, no, it's not. They're gonna kill people. They're gonna kill a bunch of children, and that's exactly what he did. He killed a lot of children, and two teachers, or one teacher, and then he killed his grandma on the way. Like, it was kind of crazy. But I do want to respond to the fact of, if you already have an active shooter situation, there's no world where a social worker is going to do anything. There's no world. The person's already shooting. The social worker's job is for way before then. He already had a gun. It's over with. Like, it's the police job to neutralize the threat, and they failed. That's my talk.
Flamethrower in a refinery. You know how I draw a picture. Thanks so much. All right, Doobie.
Yeah, so it seems like these cops specifically might have actually violated the whole policy and their training, right? Recently, the Texas policy is to confront the attacker, right? And that includes even like ignoring cries for help from children, ignoring injured people, right? So you just go in and you confront the attacker, right? So they sat outside for like an hour and waited for it was like a border patrol, SWAT team, or whatever the fuck to show up. So it seems like they did violate policy. It seems like people might have died as a result of that. So I think there should be consequences for these people, absolutely. There should also be consequences for the people that lied, like afterwards, to try to put the cops into like a better light, right? They talked about that cop confronting the attacker before he went to the school. That's not true. Now it turns out he never confronted him. He was actually, that resource officer was actually driving around and was not on campus when the guy showed up. He showed up, was shot at, and left. Right? So he didn't attack the guy on the way, and he wasn't even there. Right. And I think that like this might be what I think is really interesting about this is we have a lot of people, typically on like the progressive or left side, who would say, hey, you shouldn't have cops on campus at all. Right. You should have a social worker to like talk the gunman down or some shit. Use a Jedi mind trick on him. But I don't know how we get to the point where like, I don't know how you like bridge that divide from like saying, hey, cops shouldn't be on campus. But now, when the cop wasn't on campus, now it's also a problem, right? Like I don't know. I think you got to like meet somewhere in the middle and say, hey, maybe there should be a cop on the campus with a gun, right? Even if that means that this cop might be an asshole, might abuse his authority. We might get more videos of kids being like pushed around by cops. Maybe that shit will happen. Raise your kids better. I don't fucking know. So I don't know. I feel like I don't think stripping their funding is a good idea. And maybe I think. Getting rid of the people that fucked up and replacing them with people that won't fuck up, and also having more cops in the school itself to address this kind of shit is probably the way to deal with it.
So I've got a bone to pick with Gnosis. Gnosis, it seems like you're just trying to pull out your like politically pointing in the right direction. I don't know what a therapist has to do with this conversation. I don't know what the majority of what you said had to do with this conversation. We're talking about a police force that, for one, didn't confront the gunman while he was going to the school. The gunman went unconfronted after he shot his grandma. He went to the school, entered the school unconfronted. And so the police force stood outside for an hour. When the SWAT team showed up, they weren't waiting for the SWAT team because they didn't allow the SWAT team to go into the school. This police force
half hour,
fucked up on all fucking levels. This is absolutely asinine. And the fact that they still have their jobs is absolutely crazy to me. If I was somewhat in charge of this police force, every policeman that was not in charge or did not object to their superiors as to going to the school or as to letting the SWAT team in would lose their job, because this is absolutely asinine behavior and it does not belong in the police force.
And Doobie, if I may, so like I take your point in terms of potentially some people are proposing the solution of more police presence or more armed presence on campus, but we need to be careful because here it gets like really tricky in terms of like a prescription without evidence is difficult, and a prescription with little evidence and the evidence is not so good, also difficult. But yes, many people naturally come to the conclusion that there should just be greater security presence in schools. But there's a little bit of evidence to point, not the greatest evidence, but there's a little bit of evidence to point that actually having an armed presence, you might be incentivizing school shooters, because having potentially more guns on site might be an incentive. You might be incentivizing also school shooters, and also given the fact that many school shooters, they also want to die. And given the fact that if they know that there's going to be an armed presence on site, then again, you might be incentivizing school shooters in that if they know.
Yeah, but how many of these school shooting situations have been in places where there are like armed guards who are shooting at the shooter? That's very rare. Typically choose places where that's not the case.
Yeah, so I'll
do you think that like Israel is missing like some ability or capacity to educate their children, because they require you go through checks with armed security and they don't have school shootings.
Yeah, so we can
despite
talk about
being in a country that's like
they have mandatory military.
They
have mandatory military testing, which is different than us. So that's
so yeah. We can talk about multiple prescription in terms of like both metal detectors, armed presence, checkpoints, redesigning of schools. Like that's a separate. I'm just talking about. Like,
you don't need to redesign schools. You just need to make one entry, one exit points. So where the public enters at one, the public enters at one point, and they exit during that same point, and you force it via locked doors. Of course, teachers and children are going to be able to go out because teachers have keys. They're going to be able to get in and out of other doors, and other doors are going to be open for emergency exits, such as you push the door and it's going to sound off an alarm. But with all that being said, it's one entrance, one exit, and then you add in metal detectors, you add in armed guards. It's a much more secure place than what it is right now.
Can I ask, did any of you guys go to a school growing up where they had metal detectors and gates and all this sort of shit? Because I went to schools where they had that, right? Like typical like really bad areas where they have gang presence and drug dealers trying to come onto the campus. They'll have like gates and metal detectors, and sometimes they'll have like a dog that goes through the classroom to sniff everybody's pockets. Like, so you guys went, and I feel like separate from the other kids, right? Because there's like really heavy gang presence at the school that I went to, the neighborhood that I went to school in. But in terms of like feeling like there's going to be a shootout on the campus, I felt very safe knowing that wasn't going to happen because everybody had to go through a metal detector on the way into school, right? And the times where kids were shot, it was out in front of the school. Right? So I really don't see like this is like I don't understand why we would think that having metal detectors, having an armed presence, having like double gates and shit, how that would incentivize somebody to choose that school if they want to do a school shooting.
I mean, like in the 50s and 60s and even up into the 70s, it was very commonplace to bring firearms to school, right? Like and we didn't have a massive issue with school shootings at that time. This is clearly something to do with the socio-political, cultural thing that has mass shootings as a major problem in America, because we don't see the same statistics in places where there are firearms, and we don't see the same thing in our own country when firearms were more likely to be in schools. And I'm not saying this is I'm not like a GOP guy being like, this is proof that if we just had more teachers armed and more guns in schools, we would never have this problem again. What I'm saying is like, this is clearly a cultural, a mental health, a social, political, like there's something here that is a modern phenomenon that is causing this. The question is, how do we respond to that in the immediate, right? Because I don't think we can just institute some government policy that's going to just like fix our fucking culture.
You called it, bro. Homeschooling, right? That's what your solution was. You said homeschooling was the option. Get rid of all police.
I think we have a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
case
that is my
for
solution.
here
I
on the
don't think you
panel
can
for
turn
no
schools into
homeschooling.
mini prisons though either, and some of that is what this show sounds like.
I think you're seeing that the wrong way.
There's
It's not a mini
martial
prison.
arts,
No, my
all this
solution is
shit.
very
it's
Like,
not even
you want to put barbed wire up around the school too, like let's make it look real, real comfy.
School?
that's not even it, bro. Like it's not that, oh, you're turning the school into a prison. You're just literally just making it a more secure place. If you can stop the public, which in this case, what happened, someone from outside of the public came into the school, which shouldn't have been able to happen. If you can stop that from happening,
Don't think of it like a prison. Think of it like think of it like a fortress, right? Like hey, you're protecting the people inside, not
door, and like your door just came down, even though you had a lock on it. Like,
look,
what would you
let's
do?
look
How
at-
would you
this is-
react to that?
This is the problem. Look at how many points of failure existed for this shooting to take place.
right.
Number one, this shooter was in a school program that happened to have a private company that was tracking social media posts. They failed. Okay, no one did anything at the school, despite the fact that they were aware of the grandmother letting them know that that a school shooting was imminent 15 minutes before it occurred. The school resource officer was not at the school. A teacher had propped open a door, and an entry that normally shouldn't be available was available to the shooter. The police responded and broke all protocol despite being 40% of the town's budget and despite having plates in their fucking vests that are rated for rifle rounds. They had all of the equipment that they needed to go in, and they waited despite the fact that children were calling and begging them multiple times for over an hour trying to get the police to come in. They didn't come in. They ignored SWAT, right? Like, there are multiple points of failure all over the fucking place. And what is going to happen is slap on the wrists. Some people will get fired, but most of the people that fucking suck won't get fired. And the institutions are going to remain with the same corrupt incentive structures that they have today. And it's going to move on until something else in the media cycle moves. My solution is very fucking simple, is that we spend $11,000 to $25,000 annually on every school-age child in public school. Give that money to parents instead of public schools, and let parents choose whether or not they want to homeschool their children or whether or not they want to put their children in private schools. It is very fucking simple.
That
It's
is
an
not a
easy
simple-
fix. And
no,
once
it's a
people
terrible
once
solution.
people are able to sue
Not a
institutions, and once insurance is required to protect places, you will see that the market will be able to demand that these children are fucking safe.
It's amazing,
People
Scott,
sue
how you can
public
have
schools
like
all
you can
the
literally
time.
collate all the
talking about?
facts and then like arrive at just the most random place. But
It's
we
amazing.
can deal
It's
with that in a
amazing how your
second.
brain just
Narcissus,
trips and you
indeed.
can never engage with points, and you just gish
I
gallop,
will
and you
love.
say I'm
I'd
bad.
love to engage with it, but I gotta let Narcissus first.
You never have, and I've been on here a ton of times.
Don't worry. Don't worry. If you need me to kick your ass
Don't
on
worry, if
school
I get too
choice, I can
spicy,
do
he'll
that.
mute me if I start
Anytime,
bringing
any
facts.
place. Narcissus.
All right, let's invite them all to the Royale, baby. No, I'm kidding.
You're muted, Gnosis. Still muted.
Yeah,
Still muted, bro.
He's gonna say fuck them kids because they're not his.
Uh,
Only carry. He's totally self-centered.
Yeah.
You're
You're
unmuted.
good.
I can hear you
Go
say
ahead.
I
yeah.
am better. No, I used the wrong thing.
Okay.
I figured out I accidentally pressed my mute button. Anyways, so yeah, fuck them kids. But aside from that, my main thing is that, look, essentially, okay, first I should clarify, originally with Sprouticus, my whole thing was we should limit the use of police to specifically situations that call for violence, and then train them very heavily so they can properly deal with those violent situations in the most ideal way possible, whatever that might fucking be. I'm not a person.
What the
That already
fuck?
occurred.
I'm not done.
Like,
We should also probably find out like what actually is the root cause of school shootings. And of course that's like people that are very angry at the world will lash out, and people that are self-destructive will find a way to self-destruct. And when you combine those two with a little bit of vengeance and a gun and a school, you get a mass shooting, all right? But we should find out what encourages those things, and if we're not gonna make more school shootings happen, maybe we should do the opposite of that.
Are you Canadian?
What? Yes, I'm a very shitty
So then
Canadian.
okay, why
But
the-
anyways, I'm not done. Kids, the main thing is that kids are obviously, with the way that schooling is structured, this is bound to occur. All right. If kids were taught in a more independent fashion, I'm not even saying like private.
Wait, you're saying this is bound to occur because they're all in the same spot?
No, I'm saying like, how do I put this? The way that they are being taught is not beneficial for their mental health specifically. They are
Can't
being
have a mass
confined
shooting without a
into
mass.
no, like it's not even that. They're confined into a classroom in which they are forced to obviously learn
It's not
about the
unique to the
subject.
US though.
But like they are obviously going to be around people that are going to be bullying them. The social climate is not fluid. It doesn't
Nobody was
change.
This was
bullied in the States.
wait.
There is no
This was
opportunity
this
for
was
a
an
person to
18-year-old that went into an elementary school. He wasn't part of the school. He wasn't in class and just decided to pull it out from
Yeah,
his.
I'm talking about like preventative measures, not like.
Make a point.
Look, my point is that if we make it so that people can be exposed to each other, and we had specific institutions, and the institution that was supposed to properly deal with it, more specialized towards the violence it is meant to prevent and take care of, that would be better, and making it so that people are exposed and are willing to interact with each other. Maybe we wouldn't have individuals radicalized.
Sorry, I don't know what you just said.
Why
I
do
don't
we
see-
just keep
I don't
everyone
see-
You're
in
living
nice
in a
little
La La Land.
Facebook metaverse
I'm getting
pods, and everyone can just be in their little pods, and then no one can hurt each
Yeah,
other?
yeah. I don't.
right?
I'm
That's
sorry.
what we
I
wanna
don't.
go
I don't
to?
get why. I don't. Help me understand.
I'll do a
this.
drawing. I'll come back to me in a second.
Show me a
He's gonna-
drawing.
you're
I
gonna
want to see
draw
a drawing.
something.
Okay, I need to see a
I
drawing.
am.
Okay.
You
But
just-
Scott,
See the diagram on
Go ahead.
it.
If no one sees each other, they can't hurt each other.
Let's
Yeah,
go-
true.
let's go, Doobie.
Yeah, so I think there's many like issues here, but I think two of the main ones for me are I think we have a society that gives too much leeway to cowards wearing badges. Because of the thin blue line thing behind me, right? We say, hey, these are hero cops, and everybody was so eager to jump on the hero cop train. And we find out that they were lying to us and it was all bullshit, and they actually let these kids die and violated their own policies to do so. And on the other side, you have a culture that like treats mental health issues like quirky personality traits that need to be embraced and not corrected, right? I think these two things are a really bad fucking mix, right? When you want to deal with things like school shooters and people are going to go on like mass terrorist attacks and shit. I feel like we need to stop doing both those things. Right? I think these guys should be arrested. The cops, by the way, should be arrested for a dereliction of duty. That they should have serious fucking consequences for everything they did. The guy that went on TV and lied to us to sell the hero cop narrative, he should also be in fucking jail. So I don't know what the fuck for, but just for pissing me off. I think all these guys need to have no power going forward, and there should be serious consequences for these people. And I think that the fact, like Stratica said, the fact they still have their jobs, there's even a question about it, is fucking insane. Right? They should have no business being anywhere near a position of authority.
so I'm assuming the flag you have is ironical.
It's ironic, yes.
Okay.
No, hold on. To be fair, typically I love cops. Right?
Typically I'm pro cops.
When they're doing the right thing, right? I don't think these cops did the right thing. I think they
lot
again
of them-
violated
if not
their own
majority.
policy.
Isn't the entire
Violated their own policy.
Wait, Corey, did you say a lot of them, dude? Did you say that a lot of them did?
It looks like in that instance, it looks like a lot of the cops violated the policy.
Oh, okay. I thought
absolutely.
I thought you were saying a lot of them were doing good. I'm like, wait, what? Sorry, I misread that statement. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think they violated their own policy, right? And they then their I think it's like their police chief or some shit went on TV and presented the situation as if the cops did everything correctly, when I'm sure he fucking knows that they did violate their own policy that they had training on recently, right? So the fact that he went out there and lied to everybody about them doing the right thing is totally unacceptable. He should lose his fucking job. All these guys should lose their jobs, and I'd be totally in favor of putting them in fucking prison for some kind of fucking liability to these kids' murders, because they allowed it to happen because they're fucking cowards, right? If you want to be a cop, I know it's extremely rare that cops actually like have to fire their gun, but there's a fucking chance, right? And if you're gonna be a cop, you need to accept that. And if you don't want to take that leap, then don't fucking be a cop. And if you don't take the leap, then hey, there are consequences.
The idea
us when you took the job that we could count on you to do these things. You didn't fucking do those things. We're gonna put you in a jail.
I think it's important to know,
the simple idea that this had to do with the local police officers fucking up and not letting the SWAT team in and not following their own duties, not following their own oath of office. All of these things combined, and Justin Trudeau in Canada is applying a freeze on all handgun sales. I don't know where this gets miscommunicated along the lines to where this is a police department issue that happened there, and all of a sudden people are going to just yell, get rid of the guns, when this is a police issue and the police fucked it up 10 ways to Sunday.
We need to separate two things here, right? It's very important when you say dereliction of duty that what you're talking about is the specific policy that they were trained on for the active shooter, which I think Sproudicus is doing just fine, right? But I want to be careful here. This idea that police officers have any duty to protect you is not true and is not part of the Constitution in any way. And police officers have a right in any one point in time to not protect you. 2005 Castle Rock v. Gonzalez and 1989 DeShawnee v. Winnebago. The Supreme Court has ruled multiple times that the cops don't have to protect you, and they can choose to just let you scream and die in pain if they feel like letting you die. Their job is to enforce the law. It is not to protect you. And I think anyone, and Doobie, like, I think you'll agree with me here, even still, anyone that's actually grown up in like a poor inner city community has experiences. I know I have experiences where shootings have occurred in my neighborhood. I've called the cops, and then they say, cool, we don't go to your fucking neighborhood at night. We'll see you in the morning and do a report, because cops don't have any duty to protect anybody. The only duty they have is to enforce the law. And in that regards, like, it's important to understand that that is part of the problem, is that the incentive structure is placed in such a degree that cops don't actually have to do any of those things. Now, did they violate policy that they specifically had, which can allow them to be fired? Yes, but in terms of committing a crime, it's going to be very difficult to prove them of a crime, because the system as it is set up right now is one that police are not there to protect you. That's not their job. They don't give a fuck about you.
I'm sorry, before you go, Dibby, I just want to ask Corey. Corey, do you know in Canada, do they have that duty? I don't know.
I cannot say with certainty. And also, like, given that I'm Quebec, we have our own sort of unique police force. And so the rules are probably in Quebec different than the rest of Canada.
If you don't speak French in Quebec, you get kicked out. That's what I heard.
No, that's not true at all. I don't speak French.
Bitch, they don't speak French in Quebec.
But if you're part of the government or have a job, you...
Let's go to Doobie.
Je ne sais quoi.
So I saw some pushback in chat for what Scott was saying about cops not showing up at night in certain communities. A lot of times they're not going to say that directly, right, to be fair, but they won't show up for like
they've told me directly over the phone.
Yeah, sometimes
I've heard that before too.
They won't show up for 6 hours. They'll show up the next day, right? They just pop up randomly when you're not fucking expecting them, and everything's done, right? So yeah, they do that in some neighborhoods. Just to give some backup to Scott.
Oh, okay.
But again, I really want to hit on this thing. I feel like this culture again. So one issue is the thin blue line shit, right, that you get from conservative types. And another thing is on the other side, we have a culture that treats mental health issues like personality quirks. Right? Like, it's just quirky. Oh, he's cutting himself in the corner. That's just his thing. This kind of shit. Like, I think we need to take this stuff way more seriously, right? I think we've allowed people space to take mental health issues and make gender identities and styles out of them, and we need to stop doing that. We need to start treating this stuff seriously and have these people even mandate that these people need to see a fucking therapist.
At the same time, we don't need to re-stigmatize mental health issues. ADHD used to be extremely stigmatized. We don't need to re-stigmatize mental health issues. That's not what we need to do, because less people are going to go see doctors for mental health issues if the mental health issue is stigmatized, because they don't want to be diagnosed with it. They don't want to have to say they have it. If we destigmatize health issues but keep the severity of you do need to go see a doctor, you do need help for this, that is the best way forward, to not make them feel like something is extremely wrong with you and you're just a fuck up. You don't need mental health people who deal with mental health issues feeling like that. You need them to feel like this is okay. You're just getting help for something you need help with, such as if I had a broken arm, I'd be insane to not say, okay, I need to go see a doctor about my broken arm. Same thing. If you have a mental health issue, it's insane for you not to go see a doctor about your mental health issue. It's still your health.
Go
I
ahead,
want to propose
Corey.
something. If
Hold
we're
on,
going to
Corey.
keep this, okay.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, so-
to Corey, then.
I'm not sure why you brought gender identity up, Doobie. I don't know if that was serious or not.
I think
but,
you do know why. I think a lot of gender identities are actually just mental illness. Absolutely.
Well, I'm not going to touch that. But like, do you think then that's contributing to
pussy.
school shootings and mass shootings? Then and also,
I think the
it's-
culture that allows that is
it's-
contributing to it. Yes.
it's a little the culture that you perpetuate as someone who it's very interesting to me that you want to address mental health issues since you think they are a large contributor to mass shootings or school shootings, and yet at the same time, in the same vein, you espouse that people should just man up. You should just take the hit that you get from your spouse or partner. It's people like you that are preventing.
How do you connect me saying, hey, if your girlfriend smacks you, it's not always domestic abuse, and you don't always need to
it's
present
largely men?
you don't
Why do
always
think
need to make a
largely-
victim of
Why
yourself,
do you
right?
think it's
How do you
largely
connect
men
that? How do you
don't
connect
seek
that
mental health
to
issues?
hey,
Why do you think it's largely
personality-
men?
Oh God.
Why do you think it's largely men that don't seek mental health treatment or even just go to the doctor? Period. Why do you think that is?
If there's not a difference between men
Wait,
and
hold on.
women, why does it matter what
What?
man or women differentiate between?
There
Right,
is a difference
Corey?
between men
Oh
and women.
man, you're
Yes.
drunk.
What are you
Corey,
talking
no,
about?
Corey's
Claw,
point right here.
claw,
No, no,
drink.
no.
Claw.
Just pick up Doobie. He literally asked about gender identity and asked a question about man or women, but like that's the whole point, right,
Trust.
Corey?
You're drunk. You're being.
I'm not saying there's no difference between
This
men
has,
and
this has
women.
nothing to do with the conversation. Can we
Oh
like
my
maybe
Wait, hold on.
God.
So Corey,
You're
Corey,
so retarded.
Corey,
Go for it.
Corey, I'll agree with you, right? That toxic masculinity, quote unquote, is a thing, right? You can be too what's the word, machismo, whatever, right? I think I experienced a lot of it growing up from my father, right? Who would actively teach me to like suppress emotion.
Mexican.
Suppress emotion. I'm not Mexican, by the way. I'm American. I'm a brown American. So who would teach me to suppress like a pain and emotion, right? So I get that's totally a thing. So the point that I was making in the last panel that we're on was that I think it's silly. You said every time your girlfriend smacks you or pinches you or whatever is like it rises to the level of physical abuse, and you're now a victim, and you now need to go on Me Too on Twitter and make like a Me Too post. I think that's fucking silly. I think people get physical in relationships sometimes, and it's not always abuse. So sometimes you're just fucking around. Sometimes you're angry, and you flick each other, whatever. Shit happens, right? It's not always like you're not always a victim. No, it's not always a case someone needs to go to jail for.
So
No one
I
ever
wanna
said that
throw-
they have to go to jail. But go ahead, Scott.
I want to throw a bone to the bootlicking statists here that want to keep the public indoctrination camps while stealing people's money so that they can force their children into these prison-like mental health facilities. If you're going to keep these fucked system known as public schooling, and you just want to that fucking state dick all day long, what I would suggest is this. If you're going to be proactive about mental health, then you need to be proactive about mental health. And if you don't want to destigmatize mental health, then don't destigmatize mental health. And there's a very simple solution to that. What you do is that you mandate that every student, at least 2 or 3 times a school year, is taken out of class, and they, no matter who they are, no matter race, grades, gender, ethnicity, doesn't matter, you go before and you speak for a half hour or an hour, mandated to have a conversation with the guidance counselors. Yes, it's going to be more expensive. Yes, we're going to have to pay more money, but you want to fucking suck that state dick, like you might as well take a little bit more in taxes so that we can have every single person, so that we can have every single person given that they have an opportunity to speak to someone, that they can speak to someone that is a trained psychotherapist. But not only that, they can do so without anyone judging them and like bullying them, because it is a mandated thing that everyone does. So they can do so under the pretense that they're having a mandated conversation without being made fun of for having that conversation.
So
there's my
that
bones
was
in
actually
states.
I thought that was actually a good solution on their
I
part,
think it's
right?
great.
You know, like
Yeah, I
I
actually
think you
really
know
like that
a broken
solution.
clock every twice a day. So that's
No, I'm
wonderful.
always right.
Thank you so much,
I
Scott.
don't agree that he would even agree with that though. Like if that policy came down, he would probably be against it. I know for a fact he'd be the first one in line, being like, "Fuck these schools for telling us what we have to do for our 30 minutes a day." Like you would be first in line for
minutes.
You know,
like
for a
hating
fact,
on
I
that.
literally presented it. Shut the fuck up, you drunk.
No shit, bro. But like, you're also gonna be the same person that's again, dude. Even if it's not you, it's the exact same template. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
Bro, your whole mentality at the fundamentals. Is
Yeah, okay.
wrong,
Bring it down.
man.
Bring it down. Nasus, it's your turn. You said you're gonna have a amazing solution. I'd love to hear.
Nobody said anything about it being of good quality. All right, let's lower our standards here.
Yeah, but diorama,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I have a shitty diorama. But yeah, look, and the center, it's school shooting. It's very shittily done. But yeah, this is what I was trying to explain. Like cops, they're the people who we've recognized are the people who are meant to go in and deal with the violence, usually through violence, in the case of a school shooter at least. My whole thing was we need to make them like properly fucking trained. It's obvious they aren't prepared for this situation. Like they are quote unquote trained. They understand what they need to do to some degree, but the actual execution of it, they need like at least a little bit more practice, a little bit more training, and we don't want them to use this violence in any other circumstances. So that's why I'm saying we should specialize it. And with the kids, again, we all agree there is also a mental health aspect to this. And why I'm saying we need like a more of a change of approach rather than, just like Band-Aid solution, we just have counselors, they're forced to talk, That's gonna be one more costly, and it doesn't really address the problem that
literally your
children
solution.
children are literally
Training?
incapable of like taking care of themselves, and that
The
is
training
what
isn't
school
gonna
should
fix the
functionally be.
police
Go
being
listen to your
scared.
opening
Kindergarten.
Yeah, of
statement, bro.
course, there's
That
going
was
to
your
be a,
opening
like, a
statement.
larger-
You literally said that for your opening statement.
I'm a big fan
Yes,
of the
obviously,
kindergarten
that's why I did
program.
this.
I think what we really need to do is
Oh,
just
you
arm
said the
very
opposite.
talented children between the ages of 4 and 12 and teach them how to use handguns, rifles, and give them a rudimentary education on mortars and let them defend the schools.
Oh my god! Did you say mortar?
Teach them how to use
Honestly,
fucking
look,
artillery.
you're allowed to hunt iguanas.
Teach them how to
with
operate a
rocket
drone.
launchers.
It's
You're
basically a video
You are
game.
allowed to hunt iguanas with rocket launchers in Florida. That is how the fucking government should handle
The
schools.
second,
You should be able to use nukes. You should be able to use nukes because of the Second Amendment, baby.
It's called the kindergarten program.
The Second Amendment
You gotta stop
was
drinking.
not based. The Second Amendment was not
Right to
based
bear
off hunting.
arms, baby.
The Second Amendment was not based off hunting. And the fact that you think it is, I can tell that you are so far wasted, it's not even fucking funny.
Bro, I'm an infrared highs fan, okay? That's who I fucking
That's a
stand.
problem.
What does
Okay.
that have to do with
A lot,
anything we're
actually.
speaking about here?
I'm just joking. I hate that guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Claude, it's like
I'm
my
a
first time
Zircon
talking. I
fan.
feel like we've been kind of like rude to you. But to be fair to everybody here, you're like an annoying
I
piece
think
of shit.
I think in
You're
order to
insane.
prevent
So,
another school
I think
shooting,
you
we
should
need
just
to
stop
make sure
talking for
that
the rest of the
Claw
panel.
gets mental health treatment.
Yes,
Exactly.
that is the
I'm worried
solution.
that you
So
might be a
just to
school
find
shooter at some
people like
point.
me that are at the bottom of their life that are actually way smarter than the people
at the
that
bottom
like
of
you be. Right?
Wait.
Like there are people like me that feel so bad about themselves because they're like, man, I know all the solutions to
I
the
don't want you
world.
to feel bad
right?
about yourself.
But people like Doobie and Fabian Scott, these hypocrites exist in the world, and they're hypocrites. They say one thing but do another. They say it right in front of you. They lie to your face.
What
these
did I-
motherfuckers. Do you know who
Give me one
never lies?
example.
I don't lie.
Give me
Gnosis
one
lied.
example.
Scott lied. Doobie
Uh,
lied. Corey
Why would
lied.
I
What did I lie
Everyone
about?
lied on
the
this
shit that
podcast
I
except
said,
for
all
me.
right? I feel
Yes,
like
Give me
I
one
that's
example.
that boy.
myself.
Wait, hold on.
I'm consistent.
Bam.
I'm
Wait, what did I-
objective,
what
and
did I
I'm
lie about?
transparent, baby. And all I
Yeah,
give a
everything
fuck
that comes
about
from someone directly
is
from the
for
mouth of God.
you
I understand,
to
but what did I lie about?
Bro, what are you talking about? You literally lied about
What did I lie
everything
about?
I said.
What I lie
Like
about?
what?
No, you're not a frog. Secondly,
Fuck.
you
Okay,
agreed-
you got me.
Secondly,
Fuck.
you agreed. You agreed.
Checkmating.
Hold on.
Yeah. Nah, hold on. He wins. That's real. He wins. I'm out of here.
You're not a frog.
You're not a frog.
You defrogged him.
I did defrog him. So there you go. Okay, he literally said his family was turned gay by the government. That's the second time he lied, right? Okay, that was a frog.
True,
meme
they were
again.
always gay.
Okay, so they're always gay. Now again, well, they weren't always gay. How would they have had you? Unless they
but wait.
Hypocritic.
We
Yeah,
need to
I
do
was
it.
born in a test tube. You know.
We were
That's
gay
true.
all
Okay.
along.
Now we're figuring this out. We're figuring out the lore.
Okay,
of
all
Doobie,
right.
little
Sorry,
by little.
I don't care about this drunk rambling anymore. I'm over this shit. So
The
let's
gay
get
I
back
was
on track.
That was
we made
actually
along the
falling until you got back.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's get back on
Prime
track.
Yeah, I didn't.
Prime
I didn't
subs.
realize your name.
This stream, he took his face off it. Okay,
All
this
right,
is not looking good.
So far, the solutions are both of the solutions that I presented and getting rid of police unions. Anybody else got a solution? Is there a single?
I
left-wing
presented
person here
mine, and it
that
was
has a
fairly
solution?
salient.
No,
I
your
figured-
solution
it
was
makes
just word
sense.
salad
It's
shit that already
based in
exists.
policy. It's cheaper.
Kindergarten's program, the kindergarten's program. I'm telling you guys.
Okay, wait, hold on. So
Arm a few
No,
select, very intelligent, capable
Please don't
children
make
between the
Who
ages
are
of
your
4 and
children?
12.
oh god.
With-
Okay, so
with-
Gnosis. Okay, Jason, we got it. You saw that fucking really annoying skit by that one dude. But Gnosis, what you said? I think your solution was like social workers, right? How do you think? So let's say there was a social worker, which is like a school, like a guidance counselor, by the way. So let's say one of these was on campus, and they saw this guy coming up. What would they do in that situation that would prevent this from
Social
happening?
worker was not the solution I came up with. The solution that I came up with was basically changing the approach that we have to how we
Oh, that's right.
how
You
we
were gonna
have
draw a
the social
diagram.
climate.
And you had to
It was
draw the
like I
diagram.
want to change the social climate, which is what we understand is the problem. And like the main thing is that, as Fabian said, it's an exposure problem. This is why I'm trying to make it more fluid, more dynamic, so that they're not always. It's not going to settle. People aren't going to make clicks. It's going to be harder to be stagnant, if that makes sense. Because if you
Okay.
go
Well, it
to
doesn't.
different
What?
classrooms,
Can you like
with different
name?
So I got it.
like,
He
name a
wants
policy?
911 with 2 options. Option 1 for non-violence. Option 2 for
no,
violence.
what I'm saying
So-
is that we
Okay, so Gnosis, I feel like this is where your solution so far is word salad, right? So like, hey,
Yeah.
you're saying they're not going to be
Give us
clicks
a
anymore.
policy.
How do you do that? Like, do you force children or like high schoolers to like rotate their friend group every so often? Like, what are you talking about?
we make it so that the classrooms that they're in aren't the same classrooms. Like, okay, how do I put this? In a classroom, sometimes how it goes
Gnosis,
that
let me tell you.
everybody is going to be in the same classroom for maths, for sciences, for biology, that sort of stuff. But in different high schools or different junior high schools and in universities, this is how it usually goes. In each classroom, they have their own sets of students, and that could be different depending on
Okay,
which
so
class.
how do you-
Gnosis, let me clean this up for you and
So
explain
people
how this
should do
actually
what they do
works
in high
and
school.
how it's worked before.
Except
what-
more
what-
independently.
Gnosis, let me help you out here because you're doing a lot of word salad, but I think you're trying to talk about which
A word
is-
salad with nutrients.
Okay, Gnosis. What I think you're trying to point out is that in a lot of Montessori schools, the system is that you have about half of the day you learn basic things like math, science, and English. If obviously
I'm
you're
talking
in
about
America,
independent
right?
learning.
And so hush, Gnosis, please. I'm trying to help you because you're fumbling. I think what you're talking about is Montessori schools also have a position where about the other half of the day, children are able to rotate based off of what their interests are, and they do so on a day-to-day basis. So if that day you're really into history, you can actually go to the history class with the history professor, and it's a different set of students because it's just the students that wanted to do history that day. Another day you might feel like you really want to do art, or you might really want to be engaged in music. And so what they do is they maintain a minimum standard of curriculum, and then throughout the other half of the day they rotate in different ways based off of the interests of the child, so that children's passions can be made better and they can learn based off of what it is that they're interested in, and so that from day to day they can be exposed to the entirety of the school and it runs more like a community.
That's
Is that
not
what you're
I'm
describing?
No, but that is
Okay.
something that we did do in like in high school. We did that for a day. That
Well, I
was
tried to help.
useful,
You're
which
fucked.
was-
All right.
No, I'm saying like that is something that we did. Like it was an effort in which we tried to get something, and we tried to make it so that the student got out of their regular social environment, focused on their interests, and started to socialize. What I'm saying is that for the classroom, the class, that unit, that semester, you finish that semester, but you're going to go to a different classroom with a whole new set of
Gnosis,
classmates.
can I ask you a question?
A lot of
Yeah.
high schools work
What
like
is
that.
what level
the
of
fuck?
socialization stops you from shooting your grandmother?
What level
Then
of socialization?
what is the additional level that you would need of socialization to keep you from going into an elementary school and shooting kids?
I don't know, probably bully that person to the point of suicide. Like, there's different ways that we can handle this. I'm just saying that, like,
Gnosis
look,
has his first actual policy: bully weird kids until they commit
my first
suicide, and we
policy
won't
was
have
kill the
school
kids.
shooters.
This
All
was
right?
my second one, technically. All right.
Okay, look, literally what you're asking, right? Like, in the next semester, have a different class, a different group of people. That's how most schools work. Most schools of any significant size. That's exactly how they work.
It's like,
They do that
make
already.
the learning more independent. Make it so that being physically at school.
And how does that stop shootings?
Wait, hold on. How does
tried to
not
help.
require
I
them to
tried to help
physically at
you.
school? Like, how
He
does that
gave
stop
you an
them shooting?
argument, and you still fucked it up, Gnosis.
If there are less reasons to hate people because you're around people less, and there are people
I
causing
see. Yeah,
less
so if you're not
negative
interacting-
They already
experiences-
do
Murder
this.
somebody? That's
What if you have
beyond hate.
antisocial
I don't think
antisocial
people
personality
hate
disorder?
people being
That's
around less.
sort of
Guys,
antisocial
Prime
personality
Guys.
disorder.
Yeah, people with
Prime-
antisocial personality disorder can live life
Listen.
regularly. That
Prime
doesn't
Guys,
necessarily
Prime
mean
Yeah, I
Guys,
know.
Prime
Most
Guys.
of the, go ahead.
Yeah,
Gnosis,
Guys,
listen,
Prime
listen,
Guys,
Gnosis,
Prime Guys.
listen, Gnosis,
Why-
real quick,
Prime
real
Guys,
quick.
Prime
Well,
Guys.
I don't
Prime
know.
Guys.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't.
all right, whoa, whoa,
Prime
all right,
Guys.
stop. Go ahead. Oh, Scott.
I've talked a lot
Real quick,
less.
Prime-
I know,
Yeah,
I
but you're
guarantee
just
it was
interrupting.
a-
I'm just making a quick point. Prime Guys, I don't understand why you bring lefties on these panels. I can LARP better than anybody you bring forward for me. Like,
I did not call
Just let
myself
me
Oh,
do
I
these
just
alone.
convinced
Radicus.
everyone I was QAnon.
Gnosis,
call
Gnosis.
myself
I don't know why I have to be the one that brings this up, but the 18-year-old probably knew very few to little people in that elementary school because he didn't go to school with the kids. This was not based off of him knowing kids or not knowing kids in school. This was not based on any of what you're saying. I don't know
Of course,
why
the
you're bringing
kids
this up.
weren't related. There were elementary school kids. I'm talking about the mentality of it, like the socialization. What brings a person to that point? Like when you abuse a child, that child develops more violent tendencies because they're exposed to a lot more violence, and they will typically, on average, commit more violence. That
Okay.
is not a thing of like this is guaranteed to always occur because that is how
Th-
this
this-
person
Stop.
is.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
This policy
I'm
that
talking
you're
about, like,
proposing has nothing to do with
statistics.
it. This kid was already having trouble at home. His mother was a drug addict, was getting kicked out of her home by his grandmother. He was living with his grandmother, who also was not very happy with him. He was in a shit state of affairs. Yes, he needed mental health help, but what you're describing, I don't think would help anybody in any fucking situation to prevent school shootings. I have no idea how sequestering people away from one another is going to help people for there not to be shootings. All you're doing is feeding those social anxiety disorders, feeding depression, because you're putting people away from other people. Usually, most people will tell you when you're in those states, you should be around people. That's exactly what they want you to do.
Jason
So-
Society,
Can I ask
thank
a-
you
can I
for
ask a
coming out
question?
against government lockdowns and making sure that we should have put kids in school. I appreciate that.
QB.
So this is a personal question. So feel totally like obviously you're like you can just not answer it. I'm telling me to fuck off. But Gnosis, you said earlier that you have some like anti-social traits,
Yeah.
right? And you described yourself as like totally self-centered, narcissist, all those sorts of things. Do you feel like you were forced to go to school when you really disliked interacting with the other kids there growing up?
Oh, okay. I went to school. I'm gonna be honest. Even when I didn't like the kids, I just didn't really care about. Look, I have very low standards for people being alive. I just don't really care about that.
Being
You're going
alive?
in and out.
Okay, by alive I mean like being bears, like specifically, like existing.
Okay. Okay,
That's
so-
a more appropriate terms.
But do you
I-
think it'd be better if you weren't forced to like go to a classroom with a bunch of people that you don't like? 'Cause to be like, I think it's obvious, but I think you're projecting a little bit. From me,
I'm gonna be honest. No, I feel like it would have been worse for me. Like I'm taking schooling online, but my main thing is like independent learning. When people learn and know how to like take care of themselves and can manage themselves, they're typically better left alone. But when they can't, that becomes a real problem for everyone around.
This is getting us
Okay,
nowhere.
so I don't care. I don't care anymore. This is weird. I don't. I don't care. So let's move on to anything else. Holy shit! All right. So I'll go back to what I think Sproutus said at the very start. talking about police unions, and do we think that the fact that it will be difficult to discipline anyone for their competence here, like makes it more likely that something like this will happen again?
Police unions are horrible because they're public sector unions. The idea that you can have a group of people arguing against the state for taxpayers' monies and interests is already like completely fucked as an incentive structure. There's nothing wrong with unions against corporations, but the union is against politicians that pay people and punish people and manage people based off of like no direct investment from themselves. So no, there shouldn't be fucking police unions, just like there shouldn't be teachers unions. And police unions are of course going to protect people. But even if people get fired, and even if family members are given some form of compensation for what occurred, all that's going to happen is the local government is going to pay you your own fucking tax dollars back to you and then cut government programs or increase taxes to offset for the money that they already stole to you and gave back to you. It's a completely fucked system.
I hate this.
I mean, if we're gonna
Scott's
use
right,
if we're gonna use the system that we have, right, then what you need to do is, if we're going to use the system that we have, then, and you're going to have police unions, then what you need to do is you need to make the police union itself cover insurance and be directly financially responsible, so that the money is not coming from the state's budget, but is instead coming from insurance companies, and those insurance payments are made by police officers' own fucking paychecks, so that when they get sued, their insurance rates go up, their union dues go up, and they look to their fucking other fucking police officers, and when they try and do some shit like, I don't know, be in a fucking black poor neighborhood at 2:00 in the morning and randomly fucking pull people over for like inspection stickers, hoping to find weed, and then beat the shit out of people for no goddamn reason, they can be like, hey fucker, our insurance rates are going to go up and you're taking food off of my fucking plate at my fucking dinner table and you're harming my family by your bad behavior. You need at least some financial means of policing each other, some incentive structure that causes police officers to police one another, because as it stands right now, the only thing that happens is they take money from you in taxes, then you sue them, which almost never fucking works, and when it does, they give you your own fucking tax money back and then raise your fucking taxes, or raise the fucking price of speeding tickets and parking tickets. It's a completely corrupt system and it's fucked.
So I really hate this, but Scott is correct. The only thing I'd add is put these cops in cages. That's all I add.
These cops went against their duty. Went against their duty. They decided that they weren't. They decided that they were just going to sit outside and wait as they listened to the gunmen fire off more shots.
Duty.
Okay, they violated their oath by sitting outside the school, listening to this gunman fire off more shots, not letting the SWAT team go in, etc. and so on. There's so many places this police force failed, that these police officers need to be fired first off, and then second off, there needs to be charges as to basically going against their oath of office.
Okay, so all for getting rid of police officers quicker, right? Like that is fine with me. Making sure that they feel less secure on that, if they are violating the public trust. That part I'm okay with. Everything else, not so much, because I believe police officers are workers, and workers can be abused in their workforce, so that they should have some organization to be able to protect them. If it's not, I'm in favor of whatever that organization being, maybe not a quote-unquote union, maybe not have the full rights of a union, but they need to be able to organize within their work space and protect themselves from...
So what's your solution, Prime? Is to rename union into something else so that we stop calling it union? Like, how do we actually fix this?
No, to limit their power to affect politics, right? So, like, they shouldn't, first of all, be able to give at all to political organizations, to politicians. I want to reduce their influence as the people who have guns, right, who are able to use violence. They should be as far away from politics as possible. So do that.
So you're saying police unions specifically shouldn't be allowed to lobby or give campaign donations?
Yeah.
But like let all the other unions and corporations do that, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
trying to understand your solution.
I don't know. I want to get money out of politics. I've talked about that all the time. But specifically for this specific problem, I'm talking about police unions. So that everything else that's supplemental. But the point is that like I don't say this is my solution in general. I'm just talking about police unions or police being able to organize within their workforce. I'm responding to what you said specifically, not in terms of the wider shooting. That's what
right,
needs
but
to be
I
done
said
now.
specifically, if you're going to keep this entire fucking system, then you need to make unions, or at the very least police officers, actually liable. Like individual
I agree.
police officers should be liable. Repeal 1967 Pearson v. Ray, and you can handle this very easily with the police union and insurance contracts to make our system at least somewhat less tyrannical.
I agree that we need to be able to make sure that when a police officer does something terrible, right, that we can actually target them specifically. Not that the department pays out a certain amount of money, right, but they get to walk away. No, absolutely not, right? Like they need to be personally liable for their own actions. I'm 100% with you there. And there's many different schemes that we use to do that. I was just specifically referring to police being organized within their workforce in their workplace, because I don't want them to get abused, an individual officer, right? So that's yeah. I hope that
Right,
was
but the
clear.
problem is that who they lobby to are the politicians, right? So they're
Which
not
is why they
lobbying
shouldn't be
against a
able
corp. Right,
to
but they're
lobby.
not lobbying against a right, but then what does a police union do if talk to politicians? Like, I understand the idea of like I understand the idea of campaign donations and cutting that off and changing that domain, but like ultimately a police union is a representative group that is lobbying against politicians. Right, and like because that's who changes their policy, their paycheck. That's who changes what they do. That's who decides how many police officers exist, etc. Right. So like
that's kind of the issue with like
corrupt.
public sector unions in general, right? So
Right,
like
that's
they love
the issue.
politicians, they gain power, and then they support politicians, get them into office, and those politicians vote through more benefits for them, more shit for them, and this kind of the cycle keeps continuing because all they do at the end of the day is raise taxes, right, and cut programs,
right?
Typically for schools, right? So yeah, I think that's just the issue with like public sector unions in general.
I guess that's a wider conversation. I just believe that
PrimeCayes libertarian arc starts today.
Okay, sorry, no, but I just want people to be able to organize with their workforce. Like I start there. If there's other reforms needed for that particular sector, especially again because cops have guns, and they have a monopoly on violence. If there's other solutions or ways to reform, I'm open to it. I just
private
responding
policing.
to one thing,
and then they can have unions.
Yeah, private policing is working great for Oregon and Portland, where they are locking up all of the goods that you can purchase from stores behind locked cases with armed security there, because Amazon stores are being bought out everywhere that there are fire bombings. So yeah, for sure, private policing. If you agree with Amazon,
just made like 7 half points.
What?
The fuck are you talking about?
If you believe in Amazon having a stranglehold on the entire market, then go for it. I agree with you in some capacity. But
why would having private police lead to Amazon having a stranglehold?
Amazon, bro.
Like, are you saying that Amazon would just have like
right now? Currently,
Amazon would
Oregon,
just have
for instance, I gave you an example. I just gave you an example. A lot of people were robbing fucking police departments or grocery stores and all different places. So police departments got nixed and debudgeted and whatever. And now private forces are there, security guards, private police departments, all those kind of things, privatizing it exactly like Liberty Scott says that we should have it. So now the only people that can afford police safe things are the Amazons of the world. Now, again, Amazon bought up all of the firebomb buildings that the rioters in BLM in 2020 burned up. So now they bought up all of those buildings. They built up their own Amazon stores. Now they have Amazon guards guarding those places because they defunded the police of the places. So Oregon is kind of like controlled by like Seattle. The whole area is now like kind of Amazonia is what I'm going to call that place, because we're re-elegating what the states are. We're like company.
I feel like you're confusing. I think you're confusing some
technocracy.
things.
No, like a
Yeah.
technocracy.
So I don't
already
think-
on top of this, and like
Okay, that's
I don't,
cool, but I don't think.
I don't have to like
Oh,
be
God.
here to like sit here and like explain to this all. But,
I don't
like,
know why I'm
that's-
trying to
You're
make this
just so far
coherent.
behind.
That's
That's
what's
kind of
happening.
funny.
It just seems like you're-
literally,
You don't
like,
need to. You don't need
factually,
being
like,
louder doesn't help your
right
case. It just makes you
now,
look more
so-
crazy. So
This-
please,
What
I'm
do
just
you- yeah.
respond to what you're
This
It
saying.
makes
man-
me seem
So
more
I think
crazy
you're
because
misunderstanding.
this is the
It
reality,
seems like
and I seem crazy
it seems
for
like you're
saying the
misunderstanding.
reality.
So these they didn't defund the police because of
Yes,
the
they did.
LLM
Yes, they
riots.
did. No, no, yes,
Hold on,
they
no,
did.
wait, please,
yes,
wait,
they
hold
did.
on.
Prove
But it wasn't.
Hey, whoa,
But it
stop,
wasn't.
stop,
It
stop,
wasn't.
stop.
Oh my God.
Whoa, knock
Prove
it
it.
off. Hey,
That's what I thought.
everyone, no, don't do that. Don't do that. When I say stop, knock the fuck off. Stop it. Thank you. Doobie.
Okay. So when I say they didn't defund the police because BLM riots, I don't mean that. Hey, they defunded them because buildings were burnt down. There was a push, right, in like a massive, like, swell in public sentiment that police were corrupt, police
Yeah.
were targeting like minority communities, and
You're
for this
shaking
reason,
so hard, your camera's
That
going
was it.
shaky.
you gotta
That
calm
was
down.
it.
For
That
this
was
reason,
the
some of
only
these
thing.
places voted to defund the police, right? But I don't think, yeah, and it's true that, hey, when that happened, there were like
No, I'm
negative
accurate.
outcomes, right? Hold on, but yeah, but the way you're presenting this, right, as if, hey, yeah, they got rid of the police and now everything's run by Amazon. So if you have a private police force at the school, everything is going to be run by Amazon. I don't see how you're like making the connection there.
Talking about the broad spectrum of exactly what he was talking about, right? He was like, the only solution is to defund the police and have privatized fucking people do it. And I said, yeah, when Amazon controls the police force, this is what happens. And that's the fucking problem. The entire Northwest right now is controlled by Amazon, by a privatized police force, because there's more money being put into a privatized Amazon police force than there is in the actual budgets of the police department in the Northwest when you can.
So how do you connect that to
all
there
of
being
that.
private security guards at schools?
God, because it's all if there's no more police, what's left?
I don't think
no more
anybody's saying
police,
get rid of all
what's
police.
left?
They're saying, hey, you should have
Yes,
private
they are.
security guards at the
That's
school.
what all cops
don't-
are
oh,
bastards
God.
means, bro.
No, it doesn't.
What
No,
do
it doesn't.
you mean?
No,
When you
it does
say
not.
all
Oh my
cops are
God.
bastards,
No, it
what
doesn't.
does that mean?
It
God
means
damn
that
it,
all cops
90%
are
of the
bastards.
fucking
It literally
podcast
means
has
what
been
that's
sitting
what that
here shitting on
means.
police
It
officers.
means that literally all cops are bastards. It means that they are part of a system in which they abuse abuse civilians.
Prime, I'm not retarded. I know what the fuck it means. I know. I'm
No,
trying to say
hold
what the
on.
fuck you think it means.
How do I fucking know? You just said that means we're gonna
Bro,
get rid of all
because
cops.
I've been here for like 5 years. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've already done this.
Wow.
You're like 3 years behind me, bro. You'll catch up
You're
eventually.
20 months behind
Right
us.
You're
now.
not an icon
no,
yet,
I'm
friend.
not.
Friend, he's at the top of the
I'm 20
mountain
months
top.
ahead of you.
You're not an icon.
You're
Really?
not
20 months behind, but you were back up.
Friend, honestly,
I
if this
do-
is what happens to Twitch streamers after 5 years, Scott, friend,
Yeah,
you
we're
guys,
fucked.
fuck, you
Get the
gotta
fuck off the
Yeah,
platform.
reconsider.
I hear you.
I'll be all right.
I'm already half brain dead.
So,
All right,
so,
well,
I
Calvin-
spent so
Calvin
much brain energy trying to make that coherent, and now I'm just lost.
That's fine, man.
See, so-
Enjoy your fucking career with your community that you've got, and you've got a solid, nice community. I'm sure you do. But guess what? At the end of the day, when you fucking sit there and you're boring as fuck, no one gives a fuck about anything you have to say. So fucking.
What does this
start
have to do with the
learning,
discussion?
Oh, so
Because
listen.
I literally haven't explained it to you. Every single one of you just jumped on me because I fucking came at you with some goddamn passion. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, right? Everything I say was factual, and you all jumped on me because I had passion in my fucking voice.
It has nothing to do with
why is
passion.
it
It's
that
because
because
you're
I had
sound
passion in my
insane,
voice,
and everything
you were
you're saying is
scared of
fucking
me?
incorrect.
Think about
We're
that.
not
The
afraid of
facts
you.
that I
Being
say,
louder
you
doesn't
might
make
have
you more
passion in your
scary.
voice,
You
but you
seem
have
unhinged.
in your throat. Did I
feel
say
like
them at?
you're
Do you
gonna do a school
understand?
shooting. Right? It's not about being afraid of you. Right? You just seem unhinged. You seem a little weird, and everything you're saying is incorrect. So this is why we're pushing back.
The only person that should be afraid is your girlfriend because you're acting.
Can I
like
call a
drunk
cage
asshole.
match? Can I call a cage match?
What is a cage match to you?
It's like a 5-minute 1v1 in the middle of a panel. I don't know if you've ever seen my panels, but yeah.
Okay, so you want to 1v1 him?
I want a 1v1 claw.
Okay, Claw, you gonna 1v1 him? All right, go ahead.
Oh fuck! All right, get your
Claw.
snacks ready, boys.
I have no idea
Bathroom break
where. I have
time.
no idea how the fuck you are coming up with these ideas and actually trying to put these to words. But I want you to understand that none of us find what you're saying as fucking coherent. None of us find this is fucking coherent. None of us can actually argue against this. Fucking Fabian Scott over here is trying to give you a leg up, like, hey, I've gotten here's what I think you're trying to say, and give you an argument, but you still refuse it and go off in incoherent fucking speech that we're all sitting here going, what the fuck is he saying? Bro, put the drink down and actually come up with something regarding the topic.
Was that his time? Hi, my name is Claw on Twitch. I'm a content creator on the Twitch.tv platform, and this motherfucker has 11.9 average viewers over the past however many months.
Oh, go after my viewership?
No,
Got
let's
it.
go after a follower count. Let's go after anything that's remotely
Go
objective.
after my follower count? Okay.
Everything that you could possibly
This is
have
not
is
remotely objective, but it's okay.
You have a freedom poster behind you that acts like some sort of like fucking analogy. You have a American flag behind you. These are the objective things about you, right? Nothing about anything you said about me was objective. Anything. You don't know anything about me. You don't know where I came from. You don't know why I'm here. You don't know anything about me. Prime invited me to this panel because he had met me on another panel where I seemingly was some sort of logical person that he somewhat agreed enough to the point where he invited me to the panel to be a part of, right?
When you were plastered on
you people,
the hippy dippy? Is that what you're talking about?
So no, again, I didn't meet him on the Hippy Dippy. I didn't meet him on the Hippy Dippy recruitment podcast. I didn't meet him on any of those fucking things. I met him on a Royale podcast where I kind of came from my ilk is from the Royale podcast, meaning aggressive debate type content where we have entertaining, passionate debates.
Yeah, I won that. I was the first conservative to win that.
You were not the first conservative to win that.
He's talking about a different Royale.
I'm talking about the Raj Royale. The Raj Royale, okay? The thing that fucking started the goddamn all of it, okay? The reason that Hassan exists, the reason Destiny existed, the reason that anything even exists on this platform in terms of debating fucking Royale content like this, that was what it was. And I love that shit, bro. I love that shit. And so I always wanted to be a part of it. And I made that shit from behind the scenes. And now I'm like, man, I really wish I could be a part of it. But when I come to be a part of it, I'm like, man, I kind of hate this shit. You guys all suck. None of you are interesting. All of you are boring. None of you have any good, interesting takes to want to have like a back and forth. It's always, oh, I'm going to try to take something you said and then not take what you said, but instead take something else that it connects to that and rabbit hole you down to a fucking point that I can try to get you banned and canceled with. You fucking loser bitches. Every single one you did that one of those things to me today, and I was fucking embarrassing on all of your behalves. And that's all I wanted to say during my cage match.
I don't think any of us are
embarrassed. Then I would be nice.
I think you're the one that's going to be embarrassed tomorrow.
Will respect me.
I'm not going to respect you, but it's all
I don't
good.
respect you at all.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
Real quick.
So
Prime, real quick. I just want to say two things real quick. Number one, Claw, you sound like someone who's past his glory days, and it's really pathetic. And two, I just, in case she can hear, blink twice if you need help, Claw's girlfriend.
okay. Let's go. Doobie.
So yeah, Claw. So I gotta admit, like, we've been kind of mean to you throughout this entire thing. And I started to feel bad, right? Because it's your first time on here. Typically, we're like a lot softer with people, but you started saying some weird shit, and I think people just kind of like took out the claws, right? So I think that you keep bringing up this icon thing and being like, you know, I'm so big on Twitch and I made this space and blah blah. But I got to be real with you, mister. So I looked it up, and across all platforms, you have like 5,400 followers, right? Across all your, you know, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, everything, right? Instagram, everything. I got 64,000 on Discord. So my e-dick is bigger than yours. Pretty sure my actual dick is bigger than yours. I can look up your girlfriend and masturbate to her right fucking now if I wanted to. And so I don't know if like you should be flexing this hard on everybody, right? About how big you are, about how you started the space. You're kind of irrelevant. So just put it away, earn it back, and you know, maybe in a few months you can swing your edict around again. Because right now, it's really fucking small.
Pretty
and
cool, Doobie. Hey, Doobie. Yo, Doobie, you gonna fucking admit to sexually harassing a partner streamer on Twitch again, or do you want me to
sexually harassing? She's got an OnlyFans. This is totally public content. It's on her Twitter that I looked through, and hey, I got your girlfriend's really fucking hot. Like
Link her picture.
Congratulations,
Where's her
mister.
picture?
But
Go
I
for it,
think
dude.
she's
Let's
proof
go.
of the hot
Link
crazy
him.
matrix.
Come on, bro.
Because she's with you,
I'm
right?
go
So
for it.
I'm
Doobie,
willing to
Doobie,
speak
let's
to her.
start
Bring
talking
on here.
about this, bro.
I've
Doobie,
clowned
here's
another
the
dude in
thing.
front of his
The
girlfriend on here
problem-
before.
the
I'll do
reason
it
I
to you
came
too.
to
That's
this
not a
fucking
fucking
community
problem.
was
Right? So
explicitly
that's
to
what
try
I'm
to
telling
get
you.
people like you
Stop
to
swinging
fucking
your fucking
challenge me.
edict around.
Because
You're
listen,
not
bro,
that impressive.
I
You're
freestyle
embarrassing
people
yourself.
like
Being
you,
louder doesn't make you
bro.
more correct.
You will never.
Did you mute yourself? Is he okay?
Oh, Prime
Hold on.
did.
Prime you.
Look, buddy,
I
Come
will
just
on.
never mute myself.
I'm telling you, just put it away.
Unmute me.
It's not that
That's what
impressive.
I thought.
Please.
Hey,
Hold on. Be aware of who you're
Prime.
speaking to.
Hey,
Like I said, I
Prime.
have
Prime, I know he's your
64,000
like little
people on
baby.
Discord.
He's like your little
My
baby.
edict is
I
fucking
need my
massive.
little frog
You
baby
can't handle
to come
this.
down my
I split you in
streams.
fucking
Yo,
half.
Prime.
Don't fuck
I
with
just
me.
want you to know this Doobie motherfucker, he came in with some fucking face rig energy. Bro, I'll come at you when
Check
you
out the
come
face
on with
rig
a
energy.
face cam, bro. Come at me with
Yeah,
your
you
fucking
can't speak
face,
to me because you can't
Doobie.
see my
Let's
face.
go. Look at me. I'll
Oh
come at
my
you with my
God.
face.
Oh, the
Come
soy
at me.
is
Yeah.
strong. The soy is
Yeah.
strong today.
What's funny?
Yeah,
Holy crap.
Are you dabbing?
dabbing on him.
Hold on, did you dab?
I'll dab on
Okay,
him
I think it's
forever.
I think someone said earlier. You have memes from 2016, but you're dabbing on
Bro,
here.
I'll do
What the
whatever the
fuck?
fuck it
I don't know
takes.
what
I don't give a
happened.
shit.
You're embarrassing
You gotta
yourself.
stop dabbing.
Oh,
I
man.
have a
Look,
super hot girlfriend.
You seem like that's cool. Congratulations. I get
Counselors
paid to see your girlfriend's ass right fucking now. It's
Is
not a
that
big
your
deal.
first hot girl, bro? Is she your first hot girl?
My name is Doobie, and I'm gonna be a little nerd and go back to my
Fucking
60,000
cover.
person Discord while I have to
Sure.
hide behind a
So, hold on.
face rig because I don't have a good
64,000
enough
people.
face because I
See,
can't
my
go to the
edict is
gym
fucking huge.
consistently
It's
enough,
massive.
and I can't stop
There are more
eating
people on my Discord
fucking
server right now than
Twinkies to
know
go
you
on a
fucking exist.
Cam, bro.
What are you talking about?
Let's go. Get on a cam.
Okay, all right, okay.
Thank you.
No.
Prime, please end this shit way faster. God, I don't care.
No,
You
sis.
pour
No,
yourself
sis.
another drink? Like, you really think you need that right now?
Bro, I'm here for blood sports. If he never invites me again, I don't give a fuck. But if
I
he
hope he
invited me
does.
this
I
time,
actually
told him for a
love
fact.
you, to be
I
fair.
literally asked him, "Don't ever come at me," and like I thought he didn't.
You're
ask
beautiful.
It. Doobie,
You're a
shut the
national
fuck up.
treasure, and
I'll
I'm
tell you
happy
right
you
now,
exist.
Doobie, how about this? How about this? How about you come to my next show? Okay, how about that?
I'm gonna rub one out when I think of your girlfriend later. Like, I'm actually gonna pull her up. Her OnlyFans. I'm gonna pay for it. I support sex workers. I support sex workers. I'm gonna pay for it. You know, I'm gonna buy some Starbucks and I'm gonna jerk off to your girlfriend later.
Hopefully you do enough because hopefully she needs some. If she has an OnlyFans I don't know about, you better support her.
You don't know? Hold on, she's your girlfriend. You don't know?
I don't
she
know
has
about it. Yeah, I don't know
Okay,
about
wait,
it.
let's leave the
OnlyFans
girlfriend out of
is
this.
good,
I'm
Doobie.
Let's
sorry.
leave the girlfriend out. Hold on,
Link it in the chat. I'm waiting.
Let's leave this his girlfriend out of it.
That's
Like,
what I thought.
she hasn't said anything. I mean, she's not.
Oh,
she's not
that's
on
true.
here.
How about this
Can't
person?
defend
How
herself.
about isn't it weird that I said the hot girlfriend that my entire identity is now tied to this person because you guys
You keep
can't
bringing
fucking-
her up. Nobody gives a fuck about your
Bro,
girlfriend. Why
I
do you keep
didn't
bringing
even
her up?
bring her up
to
this
look at.
time.
I'm
You
sorry.
did. You're
Okay.
retarded, Doobie. Don't ever fucking
You're
come at
you're
me.
bringing up your girlfriend repeatedly. Nobody gives a
Bro,
fuck.
you
Yeah, I don't
literally-
care
you
that your
literally
girlfriend's
brought her
hot.
up and said you were
Okay.
masturbating
Okay.
to
Whoa,
her.
whoa, whoa.
I didn't say I'm going
okay.
to. I said I'm going to
Jesus
later.
Everyone.
Christ.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Shut
told
the
me
fuck
later.
up.
I gave you your
Everyone.
sexual harassing my
Oh my God!
girlfriend.
Stop it! Knock it off, everyone. Stop
I'm glad
it,
I
right?
stopped streaming.
Like this woman is not here. I mean, I think she's in chat, but like she's not on the panel to defend herself or anything like that. Like, this is weird. Let's not do this anymore. All right.
I would just like
apologize.
Please knock it
I would
off,
just
okay?
like to say that as a parent, when I hear about people flexing about their girlfriends and things, I usually advocate that, you know, if you want to do something positive, that you should have children. But I'm beginning to change my mind on that after having met Claw on Twitch. I feel like it's probably a good thing that his girl is out there and for the streets. And
I
not
don't even
for
have a
Claw.
dick, bro. I got a vasectomy and I got the real.
Why are we all talking about his girlfriend?
I have
I don't
no
know why all
idea.
the.
I have no idea. I'm sure she's a
God.
nice lady. I don't know this woman.
Okay, I feel like so Prime, you're right. Claw's girlfriend, if you're listening, I apologize if I offended you. We can talk about it in DM.
She still needs a blink twice though. She's in danger.
Yeah, let her blink twice if she's in
All right.
danger. Or she can come continue to drink from my drink and get me drinks because guess what? At the end of the day, I got a super hot girlfriend. Thanks to Doobie, I'm going to have more of a super hot girlfriend experience than I've ever had tonight. And so thank you for that because
buy some
honestly,
Starbucks later, of course.
I know. Honestly, I do appreciate the fucking contentiousness of these fucking podcasts. However, I want to reiterate that I come on these things specifically to be inflammatory for a reason. You all need a villain. You do.
Sorry, Scott.
I think
Scott's a
you
great
realized
villain.
that you got
I'm gonna
drunk and
say
you're acting like a
that
dumbass.
Scott is a
Could you at least
fantastic
tell
villain.
it
He
to-
does it well, and he's giving us points that we can work off of. Okay.
I try
so-
my fucking best, but like,
I-
my God, I can't even be a heel anymore.
Claw on
without
Twitch.
losing
We
my
get it.
mind.
We get it. You're from an old school. Apparently, used to be famous. Nobody knows you, but in the new school, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
heel, the villain, actually has to make
What
some
does
fucking
Yas
points.
TV have to say about this? Okay, go ahead. I'll listen to Yas TV. 10 viewer Andy,
okay.
go ahead, continue.
I've
Okay,
never
alright,
heard
okay.
you in my
Bro,
life.
my name's
Uh,
Julesby, and I'm from Alabama,
thank
and I
you.
tell people how to run their show.
Oh my God. All right. Well, this is
my
weird.
Goodness. You're
This is
pathetic.
very
man.
weird. Very, very weird. All right.
I'm sorry for every time I got drunk on a Prime panel. I apologize. I thoroughly and utterly apologize.
whole
I'm
bottles
so
on panel
sorry.
and not end up
Honestly,
like
I
this.
wish I
any
was
of you-
drunk.
If any of you have any inkling, if
I'm
you
also-
think this is drunk, my God. The safety
It'll-
that you
it
all
gets
have from
worse.
being
I'm
provided.
happy
This
I didn't
ain't
see you
drunk.
actually drunk.
This
I
is
don't want to
scary.
see you
You're
actually
all
drunk.
delusional.
I don't want to see you there.
I honestly,
sober,
I
I'm
thought that I was
horrified.
like
This
connecting
is where I draw the
Prime.
line.
I thought I was
Claw,
like helping
please
Prime.
don't drive
I
after this. Please
realized,
don't
like,
drive.
what? Like, oh my God, I live at home. I never have to talk to any of you ever again. I get to
Bro.
fuck a super hot girlfriend. I don't have any problems in my life. It's
Stop
you all
talking
that
about
need
your
the fucking
girlfriend.
problems. You are all going on a red flag list after this. You realize that, right?
God.
Like every single
There
one
are
of
no
you.
wars in
Wait, so
Gotham
you're a
City.
fucking glowy. Scott was right.
Damn.
You've been a glowy this whole fucking time.
I
Well,
fucking
no
told
shit,
you it was a
dude.
glowy.
Guess what? Guess what,
God.
bro?
What?
When I come at you with some fucking Illuminati shit, you better get ready to be illuminated on, bitch.
Thank you for
Wow.
Bro,
Okay.
okay. You gotta.
Yeah.
Seek help.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, I think
Good
we're just
one.
gonna have to end this one here. I think we're just gonna have to end this one here. To my audience, we'll end this panel.
Thank you.
And we'll continue on. So we have more content for you. We have open walk on panel right after this. Anyone here can join us, right? We'd love to have you. We can talk about these topics and other topics. So if someone say anything here that you thought was worth responding to, honestly, now that'll be your time to jump on. We will absolutely positively love to have you. So stick around. The content does not end. And of course, hit us up on social media. Follow us on our Twitch channel. Hit us up on our YouTube channel. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. Like, comment, and all that good stuff, right? Super chats always hop out as well. And in terms of our social media, hit us up on Twitter, where we tweet things, let you know what's going on. Hit us up on TikTok, where we're posting clips. And again, I'm sure some of these will end up there, right? So you can relive the moments. And then, of course, Discord is where everything happens in our community. Our open walk on panel will happen there on Discord. So stick around for that. And join our Discord. We'd love to have you there. Okay. And all right, so I'm gonna give an outro to all these kind individuals, but stick around. We do have more content. All right, Sprouticus. Sprouticus. Thank you for coming through. I don't even know where to start with this. Sprouticus, I'm just glad you're here. All right, we'll decide. I'm
All right.
just glad you're here and that you were. I had your emotional support during whatever the fuck just happened.
It's been extremely abnormal for me tonight. I was pretty quiet. I'm usually debating most people, but we had other people in the chat tonight, so that made me pretty quiet because I was just letting that go on. But anyways, you can find me at DSprouticus at twitch.tv, and you can find me at twitter.com/TheSprouticus.
Scott, usually a lot of hate is directed towards yourself, but
Not tonight.
tonight's been different. Tonight's been a bit different, right? How did it
Well,
feel,
we had a
Scott?
glowy. We had a glowy.
Yeah, how did it
We had a
feel,
glowy.
being on the right side of history tonight?
I'm always on the right side of history because I am an anarcho-capitalist, which means that my ideas almost always come philosophically grounded, both in argumentation ethics and in private property rights that stem from self-agency and self-ownership. So if you want to hear salient points like I made tonight, whilst people were memeing and talking about QAnon and screaming at each other or just getting all of the details wrong, or people like Gnosis that were just kind of like making word salad, and Claw on Twitch, which was making word salad but a little bit more entertaining. It was I that was saying, look, these are the facts about the world. World Health Organization. This is, the trust that has been degraded in the CDC. And this is why you should have a personal relationship with doctors that share your values, and why we need freedom and information.
Weird. Every
And of
single one
course,
of those
and
things
Howler
I
was talking
said.
about, and of course, we
I'm
were
a
talking about.
weirdo.
And of course, we were talking about when we were talking about the school shooting in Uvalde. It was I that brought up statist solutions. It was I that brought up anarchist solutions. It was I that was able to make points for Genosis and others on this panel, because apparently they were unable to either get a word in edgewise when drunk assholes are screaming at the top of their lungs, or because they just don't have salient
No,
points. So
'cause
if you
you
want to hear
suck.
all of the best left-wing points, all the best right-wing points, and of course, the most base and perfect anarcho-capitalist and libertarian points, you gotta come to Fabian Liberty. It's Fabian Liberty on YouTube, on Twitter. It's Liberty_Fabian, but just search Fabian Liberty everywhere and you'll find us. We do philosophy reading night. We do every other Saturday. We're doing D&D on Tailspire. We do a lot of fun stuff, and I think you should check it out. We do a lot of cool interviews, a ton of really good interviews coming up in the works. And we recently had an interview with Tulip R, D-trans male, as well as we've spoken to Jeremy Kaufman recently. And, hopefully more like that to follow. Thank you so much for your time. And I always love coming here and getting yelled at, but tonight it was just me making all of the points for the panel, and I was the only one making points, with the occasional bit of science thrown in by Corey Campbell and the occasional making fun of other people thrown in by Doobie.
Okay. Thank you for that, Scott. And again, your presence always appreciated, right? That's sincere. Let's go to our friend Jason Society. Jason, thanks for stopping by. It's nice to have you after all this time. Yeah.
Oh, muted, I think.
It was good to be here. Haven't been on a Prime panel in a little bit. Thank you very much, Prime. I am a cannabis and politics streamer. I'd like to talk about the intersection between the cannabis movement and politics and the justice system. So you can check me out. I'm usually on at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And on Sundays, if you want to get a break from all the chaos and Twitch polls and stuff, I host Stonercast, which is where a bunch of people hang out, get high, and just talk about all things cannabis, silly stories, jokes, stuff like that. It's just a good time, a good way to unwind after a week of crazy Twitch polls. So if you're into it, you can find me at Jason_Society on Twitch. And for my hot takes on Twitter, it's Jason Society, all one word. Thank you.
Absolutely. Jason, you're great. Man, and yeah, everyone check out his podcast, right? That the Stoner stream sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well. Claw. Claw. This was memorable. We'll leave it at that. Claw, thank you.
You know what? Hey, I'll take it, because honestly, Prime, imagine this. The first time you ever invite me to a podcast and it's memorable, that's a pretty good thing, right? Hey, I'll say this. I'll leave you all with this, and it's hopefully wholesome. Every single person that was here today, I do not hate any of you. I do not dislike any of you. 99%, and I reiterate that many, 99% of the words that I said today were fake. Okay, I came here today because I fucking hate people that agree with each other. So my fucking job is to just come in here and just think of new ways for people to disagree with each other and be an instigating factor. And I fucking hate the political spectrum right now with the way that it is. And I want to be a heel, and I'm coming in and being the goddamn heel. I'm going to try to do it in a way that's better than other people have done in the past. But I'm going to come in and try to at least allow people to disagree with me, but hopefully not hate me. Okay, so I agree that we will disagree on a lot of policies and politics and logical shit. But at the end of the day, I am 100% lawful. I will 100% agree with whatever the fucking Constitution says and whatever the Supreme Court has led to and everything like that. I try to lead to the system of government that we have. I feel like it's a pretty solid system of government. There's a lot of things that can be fixed with it. However, nothing gets fixed overnight, instantaneously, without causing a lot of fucked up shit. And so I feel like there's a lot more smaller solutions that we can lead to over time and then weave society with, rather than these fucking cold lockdown type society changes. And that's the only thing I want to prevent. And that's why I'm here trying to do this. And also, I think my super hot girlfriend has something. Yeah, to the lizard, the Doobie. My girlfriend wants to say something to you, Doobie.
Okay.
Chloe has a girlfriend.
Say something really quick. I will not be blackmailed by some intellectual, privileged, effete, soft peanuts debutante. You want to start a street fight with me, bring it on. But you're going to be surprised by how ugly it gets. You don't even know my real name. I'm the fucking Lizard King! You little bitch.
Is she reading
Gonna
this?
grab you by the clit and twist it.
I am the Lizard
think your girlfriend
King.
wants to
My
fuck
name
me.
is Claw on Twitch, and you can
I
follow
thought
me
your
on
girlfriend. I thought your girlfriend just said she was a Lizard King.
No, I am
That
the
was
Lizard
super
King.
passionate.
We are the Lizard King because guess what? We're all a hive mind. At the end of the day, we are all mushrooms. We better worship Moloch. Stay true to it.
Look,
rest
all
in
right.
peace.
Trust the signs. The hot crazy matrix is real. Trust the
Okay.
signs.
All right.
Confirmed right now, right
Confirmed.
here.
All right, moving on. What the fuck was that, Gnosis? Like, why did you?
I just want to say real quick. She confirmed that he is a glowy, and he has 2 sets of eyelids as well, because she is the Lizard King, and she's the king of that relationship, obviously.
You would assume so, but
clear,
also,
I'm a
I do
fraud,
want to say
so.
I know that you're doing like a thing also, but I have to go. But I love you guys. You guys are all
Okay,
amazing.
bye.
I love you. Bye.
Yep, see ya, bye. Okay, Gnosis, what was that? Anyway, but look, give yourself an outro.
Yeah.
Hopefully much shorter than that, because we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So my name's Gnosis on Twitch. It's spelled GN0SYS. On Twitter, it's GNOSYS. I mainly pay attention only to Canadian and South Asian politics. Historically, that's usually what I prefer looking at. I also actually do. I feel like I take good notes on what I research. I am still learning. Of course, I'm taking intro to economics, intro to politics. I am still learning, but look, I am trying to put new shit out there. It doesn't need to sound good. It doesn't usually sound good. It's very immoral, very unethical, but somebody's got to stand up for the unethical people, all right? Somebody's got to make the bad arguments. But yeah, no, I understand that the shit that I say is typically really bad. I am just trying to make it so that it's a controlled form of chaos. Doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be done. That's all I have to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's go to Smooth. Thank you, Smooth, for coming through.
All right. Yeah, man, it was good being here. I didn't say a whole lot. But I can tell like most people here are really researched into things. This is my first time on this panel, so I'll definitely come with more homework. That other thing kind of threw me off though. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of was just sitting in awe and amazement. I couldn't believe that this is actually happening in front of me. I thought these were people that I didn't know existed. Like, for real. Like, people would say this online and I'm like, oh no, this doesn't exist. And it truly does. And my eyes have been open tonight. And now I will be I'll be aware and be looking out for that going forward. So I do a podcast called Homeroom with Smooth. I'm also on Twitch as Homeroom with Smooth, YouTube as well. You can check me out on any platform you want to. And yeah. Y'all later.
All right, last but not least, Dark Lord and Savior Doobie. This has been
Oh,
a.
did you want to save Dewey for last? Because I don't think I got.
Oh, I'm sorry. The thing that got moved around when he left.
Yeah,
I
that's okay.
apologize. Go
If
ahead.
you want to save Dewey for last.
No.
It's up to
Yeah,
you.
Corey. We'll go to you, Corey. Corey,
Okay.
thank you for stopping by as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Despite what occurred, super grateful to be here and thankful that you reached out. I'm really trying to figure out why Claw got banned. It's quite a puzzle for me. But
he got
yeah.
banned.
Well, I think they mentioned that they got a 20-month ban.
Oh, that bad. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can't imagine why. But yeah, it was definitely at the very least entertaining, and still appreciate and grateful to be everyone on the panel with everyone. Doobie, Homeroom, Gnosis, Jason Society, Scott, and Sprouticus, and also Claw. Thank you so much. I'm Corey Campbell. You can find me on twitch.tv, CoreyCampbell84. I'm a biochemist. I do science, politics, research. I do the occasional workout stream. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Literally, it's Corey Campbell. And yeah, thank you so much.
Doobie, Dark Lord and Savior. Thank you for coming through. And thanks for sticking with us through all of this, friend. Much appreciated. Tell the world about yourself.
Thank you for having me on. I don't really interact with people like you guys normally. I got to come way down off the mountaintop to get this low. But if you guys do want to find me, if you want to make the climb, you'll find me on the politics server in Discord, discord.gg/politics. Almost 64,000 people. My edict is huge. Your girlfriend's probably seen it. And Claude, I love you. Support your local sex worker. Prime, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm not
All
gonna
right.
hold on. I'm not gonna let Doobie lie right now,
God damn it,
okay?
dude.
Because when Doobie is getting attacked on his own server, this little frog is lying right now. Because when he's getting attacked, he's watching. He leaves that server and he comes and hangs
Hold
out
on,
with us
that's not true.
sometimes and watches Korean street food and dick worm
like Korean
videos
street
with
food.
us. All right, like don't even lie.
Hold on. I don't. It's not because I'm getting attacked. I get swarmed on my server sometimes. A lot of people love me. A lot of people hate me. And if I'm in a voice channel, they come in and they'll ask me questions, or they tell me to, to fuck off and insult me for half an hour. And I love it. I love it all. It's beautiful. That's the kind of friendly environment you're gonna get on my server. So yeah, discord.gg/politics. It's a great place.
Exclamation
It is an
point DB in
amazing
my
place.
chat.
Jesus.
Okay. All right. So we'll continue. Oh my God, this has been a weird one. So we're going to continue on with our open walk on panel after this. Okay. Anyone here is welcome to join us, but if not, that's okay. Thanks for presenting your time, your energy, your knowledge, and your passion, and your fucking patience, honestly. With my community, I know they appreciate it just as much as I do. Have a good one. Goodbye. Oh, holy
Thank
shit.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, Prime. Thank you.